I'm joined by the deputy editor of the Common Sense, Marius Rutt. Marius, can you take us through the top stories today?
Hello, Gabriel. Yeah, with pleasure. We have a couple of interesting things to talk about. The first thing is that we have the Common Sense's first exclusive. The government is considering a new economic growth plan called the Growth and Inclusion Plan, which is called the GAIN Plan. And it's got a whole bunch of things that it wants to get South Africa's economy up to growing at 3.5% a year, increasing gross fixed capital formation up to 20% or 25% of GDP. At the moment, it's about 14%, which is much too low for the kind of economic growth rates we want. It's got some really good suggestions, but some also not so good suggestions. We're also looking at what Donald Trump was saying about Nigeria and what's happening to Christians in that country. It's an editorial, and we think this could maybe be a way for the West to reset relations between the West, broadly speaking, and Africa, broadly speaking. Instead of being based on things such as aid and so on, it'll start being more based on shared values. So that's something we're definitely going to be looking at. The DA has also been calling on the South African Police Service or for the government to have South African Police Service powers devolved to municipalities. It's all quite easy to do, actually. There's just some small legislative changes that need to be made in the SAPS Act and the Criminal Procedures Act, and that could give Metro police officers, for example, greater powers to investigate crimes. At the moment, they can only prevent crimes, and that's one way we think that we could start getting a handle on the crime situation in South Africa. We're also looking at what's happening with Sibiya. He's high up in the police, and there's been some quite strange accusations about Mr. Sibiya, that he's been driving a convicted hijacker's car, that he's getting a lot of money from people who seem to be quite linked to criminal underworlds. Let me just be clear, this is all alleged, but if you want to read about that, head on to the Common Sense in the morning. And finally, we're going to have one of our colleagues, Richard Tren, who's based at the Yorktown Foundation for Freedom, I think the organization is called. And he will be looking at Zohran Mamdani, who is, if you've been following the news, you will know he's just been elected mayor of New York. He's quite an interesting fellow. He was born in Africa. He's the first Muslim to be elected mayor of New York. I think he's the second youngest guy to become mayor of New York. He's only 34. But he's got some strange ideas. And Richard will be looking at his bits at Mamdani and what New Yorkers can expect.
Thank you so much, Marius. And for all of these stories and more, go to commonsense.co.za.